guys, I'm Kirsten, the Problem Solving Teacher and Teachers Pay Teachers author. If you like my videos, please remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. When you do that, not only will you find out when my next video is out, but it will also help other teachers find me too. It helps the algorithm. All right, today we are going to be talking about TpT copyright questions. First, I want to say I am not a lawyer of any kind. I am not a legal expert. If you have like really serious pressing questions, then you should definitely seek some advice, either by very, very carefully looking stuff up online and making sure that it's accurate, or consulting a lawyer. But I know when you're beginning and you start to hear about the copyright and the terms of use, it's overwhelming. So I want to give you a little bit of a basic rundown on that. So hopefully, because this is coming from someone who is not a lawyer, this is easy to understand. And again, if you have like real serious questions, definitely seek professional guidance. Okay, so there are so many talented teachers selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, like it's true, but not all of them are following all the copyright rules. One of the perks of being an educator is that we kind of get lenience and we get to break those rules a lot. We are not held to the same standards as, other professions, because the goal is to teach the students. And so we get access to material and we're allowed to reproduce it for the classroom purposes. And which is great because it helps kids learn. However, that allowance does not carry over into the TpT world. We have to be way more careful of what we do, because it can get us in legal trouble, and it's also just not a great way to run your business if you're, dancing on that copyright line of what's allowed. So there are three terms that you might hear as you're working towards trying to understand copyright and all of that. The first is terms of use. Terms of use is the agreement between the seller, which is likely you, and the customer, the client. So you should have a terms of use page in all of your products, but that terms of use, it basically says, hey, you can use this if, and if you're creating products, then you should have anything that you're using in your products will have a terms of use. So if you're using clip art, digital paper, fonts, any of that, you need to read the terms of use that that person puts out there. Because most of them, a lot of them will even say it just in the product description before you purchase something. They'll say the terms of use. You can use this for personal use or commercial use. And if they say for commercial use, you kind of really need to look at that more carefully and make sure that you're following that person's rules. Oftentimes on Teachers Pay Teachers, they say, yeah, you can use this commercially if you give me credit in your product. So usually there's like a credit section of your own terms of use where you say, hey, I use things by this, 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 and this person. So you want to make sure that you're giving them credit if you're using something, but definitely read their terms of use. Before you purchase something, check and make sure it's okay for commercial use. It usually says it right in the description. And then you have to also make sure that you're not breaking any rules as you use it. So like if you're using clip art and you buy clip art and you're like, hey, I'm going to make a coloring sheet out of this. It better not just be that piece of clip art on that coloring sheet. Like you need to get more in there and add a lot more to that for them. Okay. So you got to be really careful creating your own terms of use and reading the terms of use for parts of your product that you might use. All right. Another part of this whole copyright conversation is copyright itself. What is copyright? Copyright applies to both published and unpublished works. So basically anything that anybody's ever written is copyrighted. Like if they find out you're using it, you can be in trouble. So its purpose is to protect the intellectual property of the creator. That means that it's there to protect you, but it's also there to protect other people. as teachers, we teach our students not to plagiarize, but like copyright's basically the same thing, but not just words. Like you can't use other people's stuff without their permission. And that's why using clip art and digital paper from Teachers Pay Teachers is so great, because it gives you easy access to a lot of people who are also creating, and they're happy to let you use it commercially to sell to make money. The third term that you might hear once in a while is trademark. And I'm going to read you a quote because I thought that they said this really well. Copyright.gov says a trademark protects words, phrases, symbols, or designs identifying the source of the goods or service of one party and distinguishing them from others. I think that sums it up really good. I mean, it's kind of wordy, but you know, like Nike Swish, you know the Nike Swish everywhere you go. You can't use it. We got one of those little fake credit cards in the mail, and it had the Disney castle on it, and my son was playing with it to use in his like toy play, and he was like, look, it's the movie, because he recognizes that castle from when it comes on Disney Plus. So it's those recognizable pictures and logos and you know, like Just Do It and any of those things that like you know what they are without seeing the picture or hearing the phrase, like you associate it yourself. You cannot use it. So it's trademark material. Don't do it. It's not good for you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how all of these apply to you. Some of them I might have already gotten into a little bit. So when I already talked about how if you are using digital paper and clip art, you need to make sure that the terms of use say it's okay for commercial use. And yeah, so make sure that you give them credit, make sure you use their logo button. If they don't have a logo button, you know, that little picture that's at the top of your TpT page, you can right click, press copy, and use that as the logo button. As a Teachers Pay Teachers author, you need to make sure that you are not using anything that is copyrighted material. I see a lot of people kind of cheat on this. If you plan to create math lessons alongside a particular curriculum, you cannot take examples and stuff from that curriculum. You need to make it up yourself. I mean, obviously everybody is gonna do like 2-digit addition, but you need to be careful that you're not like working with that curriculum and their name is probably trademarked. So like Everyday Math, it's trademarked. Eureka Math, that's trademarked. If you put, hey, this works right alongside, you know, this is paired with Eureka Math, you could get in trouble. So you can say that it pairs great with many different math curriculums, because face it, they all kind of cover the same things. And you can be like, well, you know, the particular style of math, you can note that, because a lot of curriculums are now going towards Singapore math. So if you can identify the particular style of that mathematic, a spiraling curriculum, that kind of thing, you can, but you can't be like, this is Eureka Math. That will get you in trouble. Okay. So make sure that you're not using trademarked or copywritten material. This also goes for if you are creating a reading passage, like you want to be like, hey, here's a reading passage, read it and answer the questions. You need to write your own reading passage. You cannot copy and paste. You can hire someone to write it and make sure that you have all of the legal rights to use it. Or you can use fair trade stuff, so like stuff that's over 100 years old. There's websites full of it. The fair trade, fair use, where basically all the copyright, the person has been passed away long enough that anybody can use it. Like you've got to be really careful. So like if you're doing a reading passage, don't copy and paste something from somewhere, okay? You have to write it, or you have to have somebody write it for you and have their permission and like a legal document that says you can use it. The biggest problem I see with this is some people try to skirt around this by being like, oh, the Princess Castle, or the magical world. Like you'll see, as you search through, as you get more familiar with Teachers Pay Teachers, you'll see people like trying to go around using the trademark stuff, but still have it like Disney themed. So just be careful as you walk along that line, because it's kind of a tricky line to walk along. Decide how you want to run your business and what you want to do with trademarked, copyrighted, and terms of use. So that's my 2 cents. It's confusing, it's tricky to navigate all of the legal stuff, because you don't want to mess it up and like get yourself in trouble and possibly like legally in trouble. But you want to like make resources that people want to buy, and a lot of times that's themed. So just make sure that you are happy with your decisions that you do, and that you try to make good choices and stick to integrity. Again, I want to say I'm not a legal expert. I am not a lawyer. This is just kind of an introductory to kind of break down some of that terminology for you guys. And if you want a simple explanation to kind of get you started, I hope this kind of like gave you like a jumping off point where maybe it's not so intimidating to think about it anymore. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know your questions and comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.